The pipe started it all. At least that's what Daniel told himself in the beginning. Living in an old building with cheap rent and paper-thin walls, he rationalized the clanking, hissing, and occasional scratching as nothing more than plumbing. Daniel's apartment was modest, a single bedroom on the 4th floor of a crumbling brick complex. It was the kind of place where hallway lights flickered ominously and neighbors' arguments seeped through the walls. But as a grad student, Daniel couldn't afford anything better. Most nights passed quietly enough until he began noticing the whispers. The sound crept through the vent above his bed. Initially, it was just a faint murmur, like someone talking 2 rooms away. Daniel assumed his upstairs neighbor had left their TV on. But then, one night, he froze, because the voice said his name, Daniel. It was clear, close, as if someone was leaning right against the vent. He sat bolt upright in bed, heart pounding. "Hello?" He called back. No answer came. Just silence, followed by the low hum of the heater kicking on. Daniel tried to convince himself it was his imagination, stress, lack of sleep. But the next night, it returned. "Daniel." And this time, the voice whispered something else. "Your neighbor in 3B keeps knives under his bed." Daniel let out a nervous laugh. It was ridiculous, right? Some kind of prank, maybe? Thin walls, bad acoustics. Someone must be messing with him. But curiosity gnawed at him relentlessly. The following day, Daniel encountered his neighbor from 3B in the hallway. A quiet man, perhaps 40, who rarely made eye contact. Normally, Daniel wouldn't have given him a second thought. But now, every time he looked at him, he pictured a row of knives hidden beneath his mattress. That night, the voice returned. "The woman in 4C cries herself to sleep. She thinks no one hears her, but I do." Daniel pressed his ear closer to the vent. His skin crawled, but part of him yearned to know more, and the voice obliged. It whispered about the man upstairs who spied through peepholes drilled in the ceiling, the tenant down the hall who stole packages, the old woman who never paid rent because she blackmailed the landlord. Secrets, ugly, private truths that Daniel had no way of knowing. But once he looked around, once he paid attention, he realized they were true. Weeks passed. Daniel stopped sleeping properly. He'd sit up in bed, staring at the vent, waiting. And every night, the voice would tell him more. Things no one should know. Things he couldn't stop listening to. Soon he wasn't just listening. He was writing it down, filling notebooks with the secrets of his neighbors. And then one night, the voice changed. "Daniel, your landlord is coming tomorrow. He's going to check the vents. If he finds me, he'll seal me in. Don't let him." Daniel's stomach turned. "What do you mean? Who are you?" But the voice only laughed, a dry, wheezing chuckle that echoed through the metal ducts. The next day, sure enough, the landlord came by. "Routine maintenance," he said. Daniel watched nervously as the man carried a toolbox down the hall. That night, the voice returned. "Thank you, Daniel. I knew you'd protect me. Now, it's your turn to tell me something. A secret." Daniel's mouth went dry. I don't have any." The voice clicked its tongue twice. "Everyone has secrets." And then it whispered his, things he hadn't told anyone, things he thought were buried. The time he cheated on an exam, the money he stole from a cash register in high school, the lie he told that ended a friendship. Each one whispered back to him in his own voice. Daniel stopped leaving the apartment. He didn't go to class. He didn't answer calls. All he did was sit, listening, obeying. And then came the night when the voice said, "Take off the cover, Daniel. I want to see you." His hands shook as he grabbed a screwdriver. The metal vent cover groaned as the screws came loose. The air smelled damp, earthy, too strong, like something had been living in there. He leaned close. "What are you?" he whispered. The darkness shifted, and two pale hands reached out, gripping the edges of the vent, slowly . Something pulled itself forward. At first, it looked like a person. Skin white as paper, stretched too tight. Hair black and stringy, sticking to the damp metal. But when it lifted its face, Daniel's stomach dropped. Because it wasn't just a face. It was his face. The same nose, the same mouth, the same terrified eyes staring back at him, only wider, darker, wrong. And it smiled. "Thank you, Daniel. I can breathe now." The next morning, the landlord found Daniel's door unlocked. Inside, the apartment was a mess. The bed unmade, papers scattered, notebooks filled with frantic, scribbled writing, and the vent above the bed wide open. The landlord called his name, searched every corner, every hallway, but Daniel was gone. All that remained was a whisper, low and close, coming from the dark, empty vent. "Your turn." Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed that story. If you did, please subscribe DarkWhisper AI. Leave a comment. The next episode will be up soon, don't miss. Until next time, don't forget the mannequin in the window security guard version. Goodbye.